Hey everyone, welcome back to the Data Rate, episode 4 of our Let's Build an Offensive System series. Today we're going to be continuing with the run game and talking about the outside zone. Last week we started with the inside zone, which, as I said then, is the real building block, foundational run scheme in football. And for me, outside zone is the perfect complement to inside zone, where inside zone you take a downhill run scheme and you work off of that inside and out with different backfield actions. The outside zone is the exact opposite, where we have an outside flowing blocking scheme that is augmented by vertical run actions. And so that's how we're going to build it. But we're going to start here talking about the scheme, rules for outside zone. And the way that I run my outside zone is kind of a hybrid between the outside zone and a wide zone. I find it easier for my players to comprehend doing it this way. Also, skill-wise, it's a little bit easier. So for us, it is a zone-based scheme, and we're going to be working from our play side shoulder to the play side shoulder of the man next to us. That is the zone, and that's where we're going to be working our aiming points. And if we are covered to the play side, which we are in this case right here, so we can just go right from this block right here. Obviously, we're going to be opening our play side foot. We're going to be opening it parallel to the line of scrimmage, working wide, and I'm working towards the outer armpit of the person I'm blocking, or the play side armpit. I'd like to work to get my backside arm, so in this case, it would be the right tackle's right arm, inside the breastplate on the right side of this defensive tackle, with the idea that I want to carry him upfield on an angle. Okay, that block's pretty simple. When we are uncovered completely, we're going to take that same aiming point and we are going to climb through the gap. I'm working down to the outside shoulder of the man next to me, just in case this nose tackle crosses face and comes back. If he doesn't, I continue and I climb to the second level and I'm looking to the back side. Same thing here, working to the front side number, armpit, working to climb here, etc. And then we seal right there. So in a perfect world, this is how we would love to set this up. We're working to those outside shoulders. We want to climb them upfield, and we want to create both a horizontal stretch and a vertical push. That's going to give my running back cutback lanes to work from. But what if, in this case, we are covered head up in a situation like this? Well, the way that I teach it is I'm going to tell this guard here to just bear down and get right into this guy, to work to get him moving off the line of scrimmage. Then what I'm going to be doing here with my center is I'm going to be working in combination with him. If Huddle can work with me here. Work in combination that I want to essentially box out my guard. So I want to get in there and I want to swing my butt around so I can get around and I can seal off that nose tackle. And then that is going to allow my guard to then take off to the second level. It's really hard to draw it in there, but I think this is the idea that we're coming through here. All right, so base block, get down, get him moving, and I am going to work to either take over or work to what we call a slingshot, where I'm going to use this momentum that I'm getting here to push into my guard to help him get around the corner, and then I would use that momentum to climb upfield. In this case, I wouldn't do that, but there are certain situations that's what we would want to do if I'm covered if I'm covered head on. Okay, if I'm covered to the backside, he's not my man, I let him go. All right, so let's get these blocks drawn back in. And then let's get lined up. Let's talk about the run read in this, okay? So we're running outside zone to the left. In my system, we're calling this 25. Okay, and so what we're doing here, and I'm just going to move this down a little bit. There we go. My running back is working laterally across the formation, staying parallel to the line of scrimmage. My quarterback is taking a slight step off of the horizontal line to create space for the running back, and then he's reading the backside defensive lineman. And in this case, as we've talked about before in my previous outside zone videos, we're going to read 2 to 1. So as my running back is getting into the mesh, he's looking at the second man outside from the middle of the field. And in this case, that is going to be the backside edge. If this player continues to get outside and work his contain or whatever with his block, my running back is going to know to work inside. He's then going to be looking here at the number 2, or excuse me, the number 1. If he is continuing to gain leverage and work outside, we're going to look to cut back. If he doesn't, and our center guard combination here can control him, then he's going to cut right off the inside of the tackle, and he is going to climb up field. Now, with this also talks about how I use both the wide zone and the outside zone together. So what I mean by that, in situations like this where we've got our block set, the goal is to work to his outside shoulder and to keep climbing and taking him upfield. That's the goal. If we can't do that with our footwork and our leverage, we are just going to wall these guys off. We're running at that shoulder, but if we can't control that shoulder, we want to take that defender where he wants to go. If he wants to be hard outside of my outside shoulder, fine. We're going to take him and we're going to wall him off. And by doing so, we take the defender's aggressiveness and we use it against him. And then in that case, we create a lane for my running back to run through. This simplifies things for our offensive linemen. This makes it where it's less about physicality and more about quickness and more about getting to the location than it is about brute strength. And at my level, I have found that that works the best. So using a combination of outside zone, aiming points, and the ability to fall back on the wide zone technique, I think for me gives a win-win situation. All right, so this is the basic backfield action that I use in the 2x0 sidecar alignment. I can also run this out of a 1x1 sidecar alignment, and we can run stretch, and then running quarterback just steps down like this. This just changes the aiming point. Okay, so we're going to be aiming outside. We're aiming for the imaginary tight end, and we're doing the same reads as before. We're reading 2 to 1, and we're looking to press outside. This is, again, another situation where it's really going to cause, especially this edge guy, to want to really seal that edge, and it makes it really easy for us to press the issue outside and to bang it straight up behind him. And then also with this same idea of a blocking scheme, we can run a quick toss. The only thing that would be different with a quick toss is we're working to get this guy's hands down and get him stunned on the line of scrimmage so we can get outside quickly and we can just seal the edge. But it really depends on both. If we have a running back quick enough to get outside to the edge, our slot receiver would also be working inside to help seal this. Work to get out here, and then he's reading essentially where this slot receiver's block is going to get set. Is he going to help seal the edge? Great, we're going to get outside. We can't get it. All right, he might have to look to cut back. And you can cut back on a toss. So the outside zone really does a good job of forcing defenses to defend the entire field, sideline to sideline. It takes away aggressiveness because just being aggressive to fill in your gap can actually help us on offense. And it's a great complement to the inside zone because unlike inside zone where we get up and down blocking and working sideline to sideline with the backfield action. This time we get the blocking going sideline to sideline, and we get the run scheme going up and down, and it creates a nice complement. All right, so that's a quick look at our first complementary play blocking scheme to our inside zone. Next time, we're going to wrap up the base run scheme. We're going to talk about the power scheme. And for me, the power scheme is the ultimate safety valve with the run scheme. For me, I use the power scheme as a complement to my zone scheme because it allows me to have answers to defensive alignments that can be tricky to block with traditional zone schemes. But that'll be next time. Thank you for watching, and we will see you then.